Morning. It's a little chilly in the hot tent this morning, so we got the wood stove fired up. I can see my breath in here, so it's right around 40 degrees in here. It's a lot colder than that outside. I'll open the door here in a minute. Got a pretty good snow last night. I can hear some of it sliding off the tent. As the tent heats up, I can hear snow sliding off. So there's definitely snow on top of the tent. Definitely snow outside. Went out and wiped off the four-wheeler, came back in. I've got to go check the trap line yet, so that's part of the deal. Doesn't matter what the weather is. You got to get out there and check things out. So we'll get that done first, and then we'll come back and have a hot cup of coffee to kind of warm us up and start our day. Stay with me. You can see this set right here is pretty well wrecked. Had a skunk in here, and I can smell him, but he dug himself a great big hole right here. So we need to kind of clean this trap off. It's going to smell like skunk right here, which is a great reset. And once we get this cleaned up, it'll be a good reset location. But we need to fill in this hole that he's dug here, trying to bury himself. Figure out where our trap bed used to be. I'd say it was right in here. And then figure out where we're going to dig our dirt hole at. I'll put it back into, and I'd say we'll just, I think that's pretty soft right there, so we'll just kind of take advantage of that. We'll just kind of shove down into that real deep. Use that for our hole. We'll pull everything else out and away here. I carry this bucket. It's got most of my reset stuff in it. It's got my urine in it. It's got some sheep's wool and some odds and ends, lure and bait, pan and brush, and then obviously my dirt's in the bucket. So that makes this a really good reset bucket. And then I can also use this pad on top of the bucket to reset traps. So I can just pull this dude up on here, turn around, get the dog facing the right direction. Gonna get down on top of that pad, get that trap reset. That makes things real simple that way. Get that thing down to the night latch. Pop, there it goes. Back off out of this trap bed a little bit here and just kind of rough the ground up a little bit right here so we can bed this trap good. Get everything nice and tight so it doesn't move around. Okay. That's about 4 inches of offset. That's pretty standard, not too bad. That'll work. Really want to strive to be in and out of these sets in just a few minutes, if you can. I use latex pan covers. I've been using them for a long time. I really like them. They're a little bit fussy because they kind of come off of a roll, I think, so there's multiple ones connected together. Once you get used to using them though, they work really, really good. You shove that dude over the pan and you're good there. Step 2 is to get some fresh dirt over this trap. I always kind of wipe over top of it with my hand a little bit, being gentle. Then I put a final coating of dirt over top of it like that. Call that good. Come in here and grab a hunk of sheep's wool. Then whatever bait or lure I'm going to use, I'm going to put it on this sheep's wool. In this case, I'm going to use some predator control group yote dope, because I'm targeting coyotes anyway. You're going to catch other predatory animals, even when you're targeting coyotes. But shove that down in a hole, and then I use just a earth anchor driver to shove that dude way down in the hole as far as I can get it down in there. And I wipe it off on the edge of the hole. Kind of blend my set a little bit. Call that good. Last thing I'm going to do is come in here and spray some coyote urine on the backing. Pick my stuff up and go. Okay, I thought one of the things we'd do today in this video, this part 4 series, is talk a little bit about clothing. What type of clothing I brought up here to this line camp that I'm going to use on a daily basis. And when my house burnt down, which most of you are aware of, I lost almost all the clothing that I owned other than a t-shirt, a pair of pants, and a pair of muck boots that I was wearing when I left the house. So that caused me to have to get all new clothing. But I decided that I wasn't going to buy unnecessary clothing, and I decided that I wasn't going to replace some of the clothing that I had sponsored because it wasn't as effective as other things. And so when I sat down and broke it down to what I really needed, I only got the most effective pieces of clothing that I feel work the best for me in this environment year round. So what I'm going to do today is kind of go through with you what I've got for winter, and we'll go from there, and we'll start, from the underside, and we'll go to the outside. So the first thing is I have on my feet, I wear Darn Tough socks. I've got a couple extra pairs up here, and I've got a pair on. Darn Tough socks I've never wore out. They're comfortable year round. Enough said on that. Darn Tough socks. Undergarments, I wear ex officio underwear. It's antimicrobial in nature. It does not chafe you and things like that, like some cotton underwears and other materials do. So I wear ex officio underwear every day. Now, once you get past all of that, let's talk about, your 3 layers of clothing, or 4, depending on the environment. So the first one being some type of a warming, wicking type layer, like a merino wool. I have been working with minus 33 degrees for a long time. I've used a lot of their stuff, and I'm a believer. So that's what I replaced. I've got a set of medium weight, both a shirt and a pair of long pants, long shirt, long pants. And then I also have a pair of expedition weight in black. And this is about twice or 3 times as heavy as the midweights are. That gives me a little bit of flexibility depending on the temperature here, because sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot. It's just that simple. And then I have one t-shirt that I can wear over the top of that, that's made out of a blended material as well. And I can wear that t-shirt just over the top of a long sleeve merino wool if I don't need a jacket or something like that. Makes it very, very convenient and easy. All right. I wear them on the bottom and I wear them on the top, minus 33 degrees all the time. So while we're on the minus 33 degrees discussion, I also have a minus 33 degrees wool beanie. I generally use this only for sleeping in. Okay, I don't use this generally out and about. We'll talk about that in a minute. I generally only use this for a sleeping hat, a sleeping cap. And sleeping caps were something that was used across the frontier for a couple hundred years. So when your house or your dwelling can get cold early in the morning, it's always nice to have that, hat on your head to keep that heat from escaping out your head. I have a buff, and this one is one by Mil-Spec Monkey. It looks kind of like a shamag. And I wear these just around my neck as a gaiter. I can also use them on my head in the summertime and things like that. It's an extra piece of clothing that doesn't weigh anything, so I can use it for layering on my head if I need to as well, and things like that. So I always carry a buff with me of some kind. Sometimes I carry merino wool, sometimes not. Okay, for clothing, I'm wearing a pair of Helicon pants right now. These are like a pair of their range pants. I also, get this camera straightened back up here. I also have their Woodsman shirt. I have a pair of Pilgrim pants and a pair of Woodsman pants. The Woodsman's pants are a little bit lighter material than the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims are a heavier dinner of material, a heavier thread count material, a heavier thread in general. So they're a thicker pant. So they work really well. If I get to that point where I need to wear the expedition wear wool, I put those on over the top, okay? And then as far as Helicon goes, just because we're still on the Helicon subject, I also have a Helicon Woodsman's Anorak in black. And that's my outer layer in inclement weather, okay? Now, once you get past that, then you start needing to look at outerwear, insulation type things, headgear, things like that, scarves, really simple, okay? Scarf, I only have one. 100% wool military scarf. Works really, really well. It's tubular in design, so it does have some loft. It can be worn in multiple fashions, multiple ways. Face mask if you need it to be. Things like that. If you're driving on a side-by-side on a real windy day and it gets really cold, you can use this for a mask. You can also wear it, around your neck all the time. You can make a belt out of it if you have to in an emergency. It's a good quality piece of gear that doesn't cost a lot of money. And again, it's 100% wool. My mid layer or my insulative layer, my puffy layer, is a Perseverance Survival Woodland Camouflage Woobie. I probably wear this piece of kit more than anything else. If you've watched any of my videos, looked at my Instagram post, looked at my Facebook post, 90% of the time, I'm wearing this Woobie. Whether it is 50 degrees outside or whether it is 25 degrees outside, I've got something over top of it, I've almost always got this on, unless it's just so hot that I want to go with just a shirt. So I'm a big believer in this Woobie. Outside that or on top of that for a further insulating layer and a thick layer, I'm going to go with 100% wool. And I go with the M51 Field Jacket by Leicester River Bushcraft. Okay, I really like this thing. It's got some interior pockets. It's 100% wool blanket. It's like a field jacket with snaps on it. It's really, really heavy duty. It's really thick, and it keeps me warm almost no matter what. Between that, if I have that Expedition minus 33 degrees on, and this over top of that, and that Woobie on top of that, you almost can't stand it. It's got to be really, really stinking cold outside. So to go with another layer like the Helicon Woodsman's Anorak, I'm only going to do that in wetter weather. There's no need for that extra warmth because this blocks any air that would come through the wool jacket, and you want your wool to be a little breathable so you don't sweat. So you need that breathability in there. This cuts the wind. So if I'm trying to cut wind, I've got this underneath. It's all zipped up, and that cuts the wind coming through the wool. I hope you understand what that means or what that's reference to, but I think you'll get it, okay? You want that. On my head, if I'm not wearing just a ball cap, I'm generally wearing this Russian sheepskin, 100% sheepskin and leather. Sheepskin leather, obviously. Hat, it's just an old trapper style, Russian style hat. It's got 2 leather ties on the back to drop the ear flaps down. It's plenty warm no matter what the weather, okay? On my hands, I have 2 pairs of wool liners. Both of them are the military style. 1 pair is black, and these are like my spares. And then I have 1 pair that are OD green that I wear almost every day. And then if it gets really, really cold, or I'm driving on the side-by-side over distance and that wind's going to come through that wool, like we talked about a minute ago, the wool is not going to block airflow. It's going to let air through. So if that happens, then I put on a pair of military mitts. These are the leather palmed camouflage military mitts. They've got a trigger finger thing in them if you need that. I've never needed that. I just take my gloves off if I'm going to shoot a rifle or something like that, or a shotgun. But I've got a cord on them so that I can just hang them around my neck. They don't get lost when I'm working the chop line and things like that. But that is the core of my entire clothing. And even at my house, I have very little clothing more than this. I have a couple more pairs of pants. I have 4 or 5 of almost exactly the same t-shirt, and I have 2 other t-shirts that are exactly alike, and that's pretty much it. And then more socks, more underwear, and things like that, but they're all the same. They're all darn tough. They're all ex officio. So I've pared my stuff down to only have what I feel, after all this time and research over the years, is the best of the best. So what I'm telling you now is these are the garments that I think are the most affordable, the best quality, and the best protection for your body as your first layer of defense against the elements. Now, I have people ask me all the time, where can I get this? Where can I get that? I've given you the name brands of all of this stuff. Anything that I bought off Amazon, I'll try to put individual links in the description box of this video to where you can buy those. All of them are available in my Amazon storefront as well. So that's where the links are going to take you, is to my Amazon storefront. If it's not on Amazon, it's something that came directly from somebody like Pathfinder Survival, Lester River Bushcraft, or Helicon, then you'll have to order it direct from that company and get it there. Guys, I appreciate your support. I appreciate your views. I appreciate everything you do for our school, for our family, for our business, for all our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. And I'll be back with another video in the Trapper series as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.